Seva Dharma Institute of Ayurveda was founded to train healthcare professionals and bring awareness of Ayurveda to the Western world. Ayurveda is the ancient system of medicinal science that deals with the physical body, mental and spiritual well-being, as well as lifestyle and dietary habits in accordance to nature and its elemental changes. We present Ricky Williams, Dolphins running back, student of Ayurveda, and advisory board member of Seva Dharma Institute of Ayurveda, to tell us how Ayurveda and yoga have transformed his life.
It wasn't until I was about 26 or 27 years old. I'd heard of meditation and yoga, but as a football player, I didn't really come across it very much. And so in 2004, when I retired from football, I did some traveling, and I kind of had a little bit of a spiritual awakening. And I was spending time in Australia, and I was camping. And so I would wake up, with the sunrise and the birds, and I'd go to sleep pretty much when the sun set. And so living like that for a couple of weeks, I started to have this intuition that there's some kind of cycles that kind of guide the world and guide our lives. And just around that time, one of the guys I was camping with gave me a book on Ayurveda. And I opened it immediately, and I saw that Ayurveda, a lot of it is based on the seasons and on time and cycles. And so I said, this is good stuff, and I just kind of delved deeper into it. In my personal journey, going through my life, I had this sense that, that everything that I was doing, that it comes from somewhere. And if I can reach back and try to understand the roots of where it's coming from, I'll be able to understand it more and find balance in my life. And so as I searched and searched and searched, I eventually found Ayurveda. And a lot of the philosophy, the yoga philosophy that I found, resonated very deeply with me. Well, as I studied Ayurveda, the science of life, and to me it's about, I think a lot of us, we live our lives governed by our emotions. And I think, in the Vedas, there's a science to life. And I think if our lives can be directed by something higher than our own emotions, we'll find more balance and harmony in our lives. I think it's a science of life, and I think there's different parts of life. People talk about the body, the mind, and the soul. And I think one way that we handle the body and the mind is through yoga postures and meditation. And I think when we get a grasp of our bodies and our minds, what is left is the spiritual part of life. And when we can combine the three, we see that our life is more harmonious. Well, the way I understand it is when you really understand what yoga is. Yoga meaning union, it's union of the mind, the body, and the soul, union with something higher than ourselves. It's the core of all religions. And I think any religion that's worth anything is a form of a yoga. We're trying to let go of our lower emotions and our lower thoughts and really look to something higher. Well, I think, most of us, we grow up and we kind of, there's no, that we know of, there's no handbook to how to live life. And so we kind of just try to figure it out ourselves. And with me, when I found Ayurveda, I saw that there is a handbook. There is some guidance, there is a path. And so I now feel that my life, over the past 7 or 8 years in studying yoga, Ayurveda, and meditation, I found my path. And my life has improved so much. I mean, I felt like I had a lot of money and I had a lot of fame, but I was lost. And I was able to retain those things, but now I feel like I have some vision. When I first left football, my body was a wreck. My emotions were a wreck, and my life was a wreck, basically. And within 3 months of finding Ayurveda, yoga, and meditation, my body started to feel better, my life started to kind of work its way out, and it's been an amazing transformation. Being a football player, we do so much damage to our bodies. And it was amazing, just eating the right foods and doing yoga really helped change things around very quickly. Well, it's a work in progress. I think there's so many cultural obstructions to people embracing a vegetarian lifestyle. But I think the guys, they see that I'm 33 years old and I have just as much energy as they do, and so they're starting to ask, what are you doing differently? And I've got them to stop eating pork, and they're cutting back on red meat, and so I'm working on them, and we're getting there. When I first came back to football, being a vegetarian, it was difficult, but what I found is I had to dig deeper, you know, and find my Dharma. And my Dharma is a football player. And it's like in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, Arjuna's Dharma was to fight. And so it's really finding that balance. And I think what Ayurveda has helped me learn is that as a football player, we do a lot of damage to our body. But if we can find the opposite attributes through herbs, through diet, through exercise, we can balance that off, and so we don't get super stressed out and super beat up, but we can find that balance so we can have more longevity. Well, I think the first thing is really to understand the philosophy. I think so many Americans, you know, are lost. I think, you know, if you look at the bestseller book list, most of them are self-help books. So I think people are looking, and I think for me, when I understood the philosophy, yogic philosophy behind Ayurveda, yoga, and meditation, it made so much sense. And a lot of questions I had about my life and about the world were answered. And so I think to understand that there are answers to our questions, and then as we evolve and we grow, we have enough confidence and courage to take the steps to improve our lives. Please come on out and enjoy. I mean, my first time doing yoga, I was a little nervous. I said, I'm this big football player. I'm not going to go in there. People are going to make fun of me. But I did it, and I haven't turned back. I mean, it's funny. I took a class, and the next 2 months later, I was in India, you know, taking a teacher's training course. And so, it's, you know, people think, you know, that it's not for them. But as an athlete, I mean, it's really helped me be a better football player. Really, just gaining more awareness of my body and knowing what my body needs and how to take care of it. And it's relaxing, you know. Everyone wants to relax more. Everyone has stress, you know. Well, I think it's a beautiful art. It's a beautiful science, and I think, you know, my example changing my life around. I think, you know, a lot of people don't have the kind of stresses that I have, and if it can help me, then it can help anyone. And so I think, you know, just to tell people to have an open mind and come. It can't hurt, you know. I guarantee you'll learn something new about yourself and about the world. Well, you know, I really believe that, you know, one of the reasons we're on this earth is to serve, and is to give and to help people. And I look at all the suffering that I've done in my life, and if I can transform it into helping other people, then it's definitely well worth it.